Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brother Chaos channel for another experiment. For today's experiment, we have another film from the Danza Macabra Volume 3 Spanish Gothic films. The one we'll be reviewing today is called Cake of Blood, and it's an anthology made up of 4 stories. I hope everyone is having a good day today. I send you many love and blessings. Let's get into the experiment. Drinking from what Master Chaos got me for my birthday. The first story in the anthology is called Tarot, like tarot cards. And they're all set in different time periods, each of the stories. This one is around the year 1000. Now, this the whole movie is very artsy and poetic, but this is the one that's most of all that. It has a lot of poetic dialogue, dreamlike sequences, and beautiful scenery throughout. I couldn't figure out what was happening. This guy on the beach without a shirt is running around, he's falling in the mud. Then these like 5 hooded figures surround him, walking menacingly towards him. They beat him. I think they leave him for dead. Then, in this same story, it cuts to a little bit another location, but in the same time period, around the year 1000. There's a knight on horseback. And what happens is that it's during the time of an epidemic, like a plague. So there's corpses, very empty world to be going around. The guy is on his horse, the knight, he's very despondent. He's when he's looking for company, someone that has survived the epidemic, the pandemic that has devastated the countryside. He runs into a little boy, but before this, enters this brick stone building, which is either a monastery, a church, or a small castle. I couldn't tell. I don't know about this time period, so forgive me for that. And there is this beautiful woman. She doesn't look decomposed. She's on a slab. She's possibly a vampire. We will find out later what she's all about. I won't get into it now because I don't want to give spoilers. But he's transfixed by her beauty. So he leaves. He stares at her for a little while. There on the slab, she's laying on the slab in a dress, in a gown, nothing fancy. So anyway, he exits and he's on his horse again. The knight. He runs into a little boy. He's a strange little boy, very peculiar. The characters here remind me of characters from the Seventh Seal, Ingmar Bergman. You know, a lonely knight wandering about. So the boy turns out to be kind of like, I would say, possessed, or maybe he's just crazy. But the knight initially is surprised that he found someone to talk to, but he's been roaming around for only God knows how long without any human interaction. And I will stop right there. I will not give spoilers. That's the end of the first segment called Tarot. The second segment is called Victor Frankenstein. This one is a little bit morbid. Like all the segments in this anthology, very beautiful scenery. This one takes place in the 19th century, and it's a loose, very loose adaptation of the Frankenstein novel. So, Victor Frankenstein is isolated, working on his experiment. We all know what it is, making a man out of human body pieces. But this is very different in this Spanish anthology. So, in this segment called Victor Frankenstein, he we don't see a laboratory, which sucks in my opinion. We just see Victor Frankenstein going back to the town. He's his mother is at her deathbed. She's dying, and he grew up with a sister, not bloodline sister, but um a girl that had no parents and grew up with him, with Victor. And the mother on her deathbed, her wish is that they marry. So Victor Frankenstein marries her. He's with her for a little bit of time, and he says, "I'm gonna send someone in my name. Treat him right." It's very mysterious. And then he leaves and vanishes again. He's a very mysterious character. So now we get to meet the creation, the monster. I like to call him the creation because he's not a monster. It's a man. He does not have the neck bones that we're familiar with Frankenstein. He's not seemingly not made from body parts. A normal looking dude in a white shirt and black pants and shoes, skinny. He he's very wobbly, a wobbly dude. He had he copies the behavior of what he sees. And this comes into play later on when he gets into trouble for copying behavior. He sees a couple in the field making love, so he copies their behavior. Then, in an altercation, he gets hit in the head. He copies that behavior, and things don't turn out well. I didn't like this creature, this monster. Nothing like the Frankenstein we're used to from Mary Shelley's book. I believe it's Mary Shelley that wrote Frankenstein. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he's just a wobbly, mentally handicapped dude walking around. So this story ends in a very morbid way, and that's the end of the second segment. The third segment is called Terror Among Christians, and this was an interesting one. Takes place a few years after the death of JC. This is what it said in the title card. JC, supposedly Jesus Christ. Two disciples are on a journey to find a safe haven from the Romans that are persecuting the Christians. And in their journey, they have to pass through what is said to be a haunted forest. Now, it's haunted because there was a massacre where I'm looking at my notes, 200 children were killed. So they talk to each other. One of them says, "Keep an eye open while you sleep and keep your dagger in your hand just in case. Many have come by themselves and have never returned, never made it to their destination. So be very careful." So they fall asleep, they have crazy dreams, And yes, there are ghosts in this segment, and there's even a vampire in this segment, which a vampire or a vampire slash ghost. But it's interesting. This was one of my favorite segments. It was fun to watch. They have vivid dreams in this haunted, foggy, haunted woods. And will they survive? Will they make it to their destination? So the excuse me, so the Roman persecution doesn't get to them? You'll have to watch and find out. But it's all shot very beautifully. I will now go to the final segment, which is my least favorite. It has a crazy long title, which I don't make understand. It's called The Dance or Emotional Survivals. The Dance or Emotional Survivals. I don't know what that means. This story takes place in present day, and it's a woman who's an actress, and is supposedly she used to live with someone, boyfriend, lover, I'm not sure, but now she lives alone. And the first thing we see in this segment is a peeping Tom. This guy across the street has a not binoculars, the ones that are only one long thing that the pirates used to use to look out into the ocean at other oncoming boats. He has that. I can't. The word doesn't come to my head right now. A telescope, not a telescope. I'm sorry. You know what I mean. So he has that, and he's looking at her. She's not doing anything sexual. She's just sitting on her on the front steps of her house with her legs crossed, but she has the shorts, and the guy's getting a good iPhone of her slender legs. So he's enthralled with that. Then a gentleman in a nice suit comes up behind him and startles him and tells him this particular woman, her name is Anna, she lives alone. Let's rob her. So they become quick friends, and they hatch a plot to, I think, the very next night, they're going to get into her house and rob her. Because supposedly she has valuables. We find out, not sure if I told you earlier, but yes, she's an actress. I don't know how famous she was, but they break into her house. You don't see the break in, you just see them already with her. She's tied up during a segment, she's gagged. The peeping Tom character keeps rubbing his finger over her arm. He's quite a pig. And so the guy in a nice suit, he's upstairs rummaging, but they can't find anything of value. And night progresses, and then they still don't find anything. They open a locked room, but that seems to be a bathroom, so they can't find any valuables. The last 5 minutes of this segment I did not understand because it does involve a dance, but there's the mystery of who is this man in the suit that randomly appeared. Anna has secrets. The man in the suit's identity will be somewhat revealed, but in a cryptic way, in a David Lynch way. And spoiler free, that's all I'm going to say about that segment. The whole film is very artsy, beautiful cinematography, great locations. Spain, offers very beautiful vistas. The acting is good. The story, the dialogue is poetic. The direction is spot on. Set design, very beautiful. Most of it is outdoors. But when we do see a little bit, like in the Victor Frankenstein film segment, and in the dance or emotional survival segment, which takes place in present day, beautifully shot film. It's a horror anthology, well made, but I think it's obscure, hasn't gotten enough recognition for a reason because the horror element is different here. It's hard to point it out. There is a sense of horror, but it's very artsy, very poetic. I like poetry myself, but not in movies. Usually not in a horror movie. Like the vampire films of John Rollin. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly, but I'm sure most of you know who I'm talking about. His films are somewhat enjoyable to me. So I don't like poetry in my horror films. I don't know if you understand me. I don't know if you understand me. I'm sorry. But I have to give this film a pretty decent rating because it was good to look at. The scenes are beautiful, the locations are beautiful, like I mentioned before. So I'm gonna give it 2.5 coffins. So that's my review for Cake of Blood, a Spanish Gothic horror film from 1971. 2.5 coffins. It's a notch above decent. I recommend if you like what you're hearing about this film, check it out. Once again, it's one of the films in the Danza Macabra Volume 3 box set. The film again, Cake of Blood. Um, I would suggest give it a watch. Give it a watch. It's I was never bored during the film, and that's always a good thing. And you could tell the people that made this film cared about how it looked and had a great pride in their artistic sensibilities. I hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless you. Brother Chaos loves you. And thank you for everyone that has been subscribing and liking and leaving comments on my posts. We'll see you again soon with another experiment. Till later.